All right, so I can't believe I'm even telling this, man. This is some of the wildest shit I have ever experienced, man. Jeez. How do I even start this off? Okay, I guess I can just say this. So yesterday I was almost assaulted while trying to turn back into my yard from so I don't know if you see over there. Here's gonna help you. There is a two gated side fence, so you know you can come in either way, but usually one's going, one's coming, like what that car just went through. I was turning into my yard from the main road that's up over there, and needless to say, I was being tailed by some absolute, just complete. I'm not gonna call out names, man. If I'm being honest, I'd want to, but like, since I know this is going public, I'm not gonna call anyone names, just out of respect for the fact that I don't want people who are watching this going around calling people names just because they pissed them off. Like, I mean, you probably still will. Like, you probably still will think people as like jerks and absolute a-holes, but like, look, I'm just telling you this right now. I was almost assaulted coming back into my yard. This guy literally pulled up right in front of my scale and blocked me from getting onto it, and then proceeded to get out of his car and shout, "You want to fight? I'll kick your ass." And he's just like yelling at me while I'm still in my truck. So like, something I do usually have in here, which I don't know if I still have it. I might have pulled it out, but so I keep a crowbar usually back here. I keep that, and okay, so the only reason I'll have a crowbar and that I'll ever use it is because sometimes the latches on the ears of the pipes get stuck, and you really can't like use your hand to pull it loose. It won't come loose, so you have to wedge the crowbar into the ears. I don't know if you can see that, but there's ears on these things. You have to wedge the crowbars on the ears and then force them to come open, so that way you can get the pipes off and on, you know. And I keep one in here. It's in the back of my toolbox. Actually, I'll show you real quick. So, I think my truck's done warming up. Okay, yeah, I think I put it back here. Look at this. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, so I had to rearrange this a little bit yesterday, but this is the tool of choice. And the only reason I would ever use that, good, my truck's trying to regen without my permission. The only reason I would ever use this tool is simply for work. But I will tell you right now, man, I'm telling you, I had it like down here. And when this guy pulled up and nearly walked up to my window, he was like 2 feet away from me. I grabbed this, I showed it to the side of me, and then I proceeded to open the door with it, you know, wrapped around my arm. So that when I got out, it was in my, basically, like this. Basically facing me. So I had it like this, and then I got out, and I went out like that, and I was just like, I'm absolutely ready to kick ass if I absolutely have to. But the only reason I would ever do this, and usually you're not even supposed to use something like this, but because we're in the yard and technically where I'm at, if someone tries to throw a first punch, you're more than welcome to defend yourself however you need to. You know, there is no such thing as not being able to use tools at your own will and self-defense. Now, I didn't use it, obviously, because that would just get me into more trouble, and to be completely honest, I wasn't looking to fight, all right? So this guy comes in, threatens me. As soon as he sees me pull out the pipe, he immediately goes from wanting to kick my ass to just wanting to talk. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I take the crowbar and I put it back over here, back inside, and we talk, and he basically tells me, hey, you cut me off. And I'm like, no, I didn't cut you off. I went through the light. By the way, the light was going from green. By the time I went it went over me, it was going orange, and then by the time my trailer end went through, it was already red. But I was already through the turn, and I was already up the road a little bit. So I was, still within my range to be able to get up and out of the light. I didn't run a red light. His excuse was I ran a red light and he was in a rush. So I was trying to merge to the left lane because my yard's right over here. So I have to go turning to my left. So I was in the left lane. There were 2 other truckers in the right lane, and I was behind the 2 other truckers before I started merging over. This guy went from behind me to trying to go around me as I'm trying to merge over. I have my signal on. I'm trying to get over. He tries to get around me. He's almost across the yellow line, basically on the other side. And I stay there for a little bit, trying to go back to the right lane, and then he gets back behind me. So then I figure, okay, I'm just going to get over while I can because my yard's literally right over here. I don't want to lose that turn because, otherwise I got to do some kind of weird U-ey or find a road to basically make a big circle around and come back. And if I have to do that, then I'm going to explain to my boss why I, drove 3 miles out of the way just to make a big turnaround to come back in the yard. Stupid. But anyways, he comes in, he threatens me a little bit, he wants me to apologize. So you know what, even though I'm not in the mood to really say sorry, I just apologize while holding back everything I have, and I just say, hey, I'm sorry if you felt that I cut you off. And I know that's the shittiest way to have a response. And it's the shittiest way to ever apologize. But you got to understand, I really didn't want to, and I was so tempted to tell this dude to go F himself, basically. But I didn't. And then he went to go talk to my dispatcher, which then he yelled at him for whatever happened, even though he doesn't know what fully happened. He just automatically defended me because, we got a good relationship. And then he went to go talk to my boss, who also just flat out ignored him, but just to make him go away, he basically said, yeah, we'll look into it. We'll talk to him. And then, so he left. No one got his license plate numbers. I did report that he did try to, or attempted to assault me until I pulled out a pipe, and then he just stopped. Had he have had maybe a handheld weapon, I would have definitely not been in the same or in the right scenario. But regardless, that's still assault. It's verbal assault, it's harassment, it's also terroristic threat. So there's a lot of things that can go in that subcategory. And if I'm being honest, not a whole lot escalated beyond a little bit of yelling and just aggressive talking with some threats. So I'm going to just tell you this right now. If you ever get into a conflict with somebody, whether it's on the road, whether it's in a parking lot, or even in a place of business of any sort, if somebody ever gives you conflict and they start to threaten you, you automatically have the right to, in a sense, press charges for, either, verbal assault or some kind of harassment, or if they're making threats to you. If at any point anyone ever makes you feel unsafe, you have a right to get a police involved or get a manager involved, or get somebody else involved of another figure, whether it's another supervisor, whether this happens at your workplace and it's an employer. Doesn't matter. If a customer or just somebody randomly comes up and they threaten you because they say that you did something wrong, and that you essentially, either if you cut them off, doesn't matter what happened. If you did something, maybe it wasn't your intention, and they try to attack you for it, you have every right to defend yourself, and you don't necessarily need to throw the first punch. It's actually better if they threaten to hit you and they want to. I know this sucks, but I wouldn't do this, but you can instigate it. Instigate them to hit you. If they really do and they're dead on serious about hitting you, there might be something mentally wrong with them, because anybody at almost any age above, 14, 15, 16, or at least once you're above 18, if you assault somebody and you are above the age of 18, there are some criminal charges you will be facing. Anyone and everyone, if you attack someone, they will press charges. Unless this is a very unique situation and it's very unique to you, you can definitely get charges pressed on somebody who, even if they threaten to assault you, that is something you can do. But yeah, that was my day yesterday, and I dreamt about it the night before, of all the things I wish I had done. but we live in a certain kind of state in which you don't attack people if they piss you off. It might rage and infuriate some people, but never let anyone push you over the edge to the point where you actually do something. Even if they're the ones at fault and you're not, if they're gonna be the one to like threaten you or to throw the first punch, let them. Because and then at that point, they're in more trouble than you are. So keep that in mind. If anything bad happens, don't be the one to instigate. Don't be the one to, threaten back. Just, if someone's gonna hit you, honestly, let them swing on you. If they hit you, that's one thing. If they swing on you and they don't, that's still an attempted of assault. Attempting assault is still the same punishment as assault, because it's with the intent to hurt somebody. Anyways, just keep that in mind, people. I don't want anyone else out here getting hurt, but just, truckers got to deal with this shit all the time. Taxi drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, some people have to deal with this a lot. And it doesn't always make the news. It's not always the big headline. This stuff happens all the time, but no one's, there with a camera reporting it. So just be aware. It's not worth, risking your job or anything like that over. Just play it safe. Don't lose your cool. Stay calm. And remember, you have a team with you, whether it's family or people you work with or friends who will have your back and will help you, get through this. So just keep that in mind. All right, well, that's it for my rant. But yeah, have a good one.